Hi, Srini. Sorry for joining late. Actually, the session link expired. That is where I couldn't log in. I was waiting for the link to be sent to me. Let folks join in. Are people joining in? Is it a good time to start? Already 20 minutes into the session. So I believe yesterday we completed the joins. Today we'll go to the cross join last part. And then from there on, we'll move further to the other segment. Today we'll try to cover the views, group by and order by clause, if time permit. I don't know how much time it will permit, but we'll try to cover it up. Srini, any other students are there in the session? Are they joining in? Anything? Can you just provide some context or? I don't see anybody. Srini, other than you, anyone else is there? Yeah, people are there in the class. Are you all joining or you are not joining? Shall I start? Because I don't see anyone joining. Can someone confirm? Shall we start? Not start? I see Srini, Pradeep only joining. LibLab coordinator, can you confirm? Can I start with the session? Okay, fine. So students, we yesterday covered the join operation and we have understood the principles behind the join are what is the purpose of a join? Join helps in retrieving the data from two or more tables. Join is an operation that allows SQL select query to be able to select data from two or more table depending upon the need. If you want to get exact matching data, then you are going to go for the inner join. If you want to get all the matching data from the left side of the table, even if no match found from the left table, I want to get the data, then go for the left outer join. In the left outer join, what will happen? All the matching rows from the left table will come, all the rows from the left table will come out, even if there is no matching rows found. If there is a matching row from the right side data will come out. If there is no matching data in the right side, null data rows will come out. Right outer join, exactly reverse direction. Your intent is right. So all the data, irrespective of a match is found or not found, all the data from the right side will be coming into the join operation. If you go into the pull outer join is a combination of left outer join plus right outer join, but unique data. So now today we are going to complete the last part of the join that is known as a cross join. Okay. What is a cross join? Cross join is a type of join that allows to retrieve record from both the table, but it allows you to retrieve the record in a cross multiplication manner. Say for an example, there are A cross B data in a table A and N cross M cross N data in a table B. What do you mean by A cross B rows in the table A and M cross N rows in table B? That essentially mean there are rows and columns, right? So say for an example, in table A, there are 4 rows and 2 columns, 4 and 2. So I will give an example. Say for an example, in table A, there are, just a second, please. Okay, so sorry. So if the table does have a table A has A cross B rows, A cross B means what? A cross B means what? 2 cross 2 rows. Say for an example, 2 rows and 2 columns. And table B has, table 2 has M cross N rows. That means 3 cross 2 rows. 3 cross 2 means what? 3 rows, sorry, 3 rows and 2 columns. In that way, when you do the cross join between these two tables, what will happen? The rows will get multiplied. So 2 rows will get multiplied with 3 rows. So a resultant table will have 2 into 3 rows. Okay, 2 into 3 rows. First table's 2 rows and second table and the column would be 2 plus 2 column. So columns gets adds up, but rows get multiplied. So total value will be 6 comma 4 rows. 6 comma 4 rows. Okay, that would be the resultant grid. So let us understand the example. Let us see. I want to do a cross join between. I do want to do a cross join between tables. So say for an example, I have a pet table and I have a pet owners table. Okay, I want to do a cross join between them. Do remember, by far, whenever we are writing a join query, we are always saying join on a particular condition. Is that understanding correct? You select table 1, then you will say join, right? You will say inner join, outer left outer join, right outer join, and all these things. But here you will say cross join, and there would not be any kind of on condition. Cross join is a very special type of syntax, very rarely used. I will tell you where it is used also. Very rarely used. That means you can assume, unless and until you are going and joining a retail industry where you have to do price projection or machine learning kind of exercise, you are not going to use the cross join ever. Okay, it is just an interview question, just for the sake of knowing how many rows and columns will be produced out of it. But do remember, pits table has how many columns? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 8 columns in the pit table, pit owners table. And the pit table has 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 8 column and 6 columns. So when you do a cross join, total will be 14 column will be produced. Why? Because column gets added up and rows get multiplied. So if pet owner has, say, I don't know how many rows are there in the pet owners. So let us verify. Pets has 102 rows. Okay. Let us verify how many rows are there in the pets. Select star from pets and select star from pet owners. Let us understand how many rows. In the pet table, there are 102 rows. In the pet owner, there are 89 rows. Here 102, and here 89. Here 89, correct? And total columns are in pit. How many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 102 cross 6. And here how many column? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 89 cross 8. That is what the structure look like. If I do a cross join, see, look for the cross join syntax. Cross join syntax is very straightforward. Okay. Select column list from table 1, cross join table 2. There is no on condition because it is a cross join. There is no matching is needed. Anyways, it will do the matching between the grids. Okay. Can you see how many resultant data came out? 9,078 rows came out automatically after the joining. And how many columns came out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. How many columns came out? 9,078 rows. The result came out with how many rows? 9,078 cross 14. How did it happen? What did it do? Every row of each table get multiplied with every rows of the other table. Okay, that means what happened? Let me show you. So if it is a matrix multiplication. If you have studied mathematics during your +2 or 10 plus 2 or in your 10th, there are some object known as matrix. If you multiply a matrix with a row and a column, every row of our data gets multiplied with every row of the column of the other matrix, right? That is what typically a matrix multiplication is. Cross join gives you the ability to do the matrix multiplication of all the data from one table with all the data in the other table. Okay, so if you multiply, select 102 into 89, what would be the answer? Let's verify. Is it 9,078? That is what the result is coming out, right? So 1,102 will be multiplied with 89 rows. 6 column will be added with 8 columns. So the resultant grid of a cross join operation will always be having this many rows and columns. That is the only interview question that you can get from the cross join. But let us understand what happened. Can you see here black key? If you see here black key, every like I said, every row of the pet table will be multiplied with every row of the pet owner table. If you see here, first row of the pet table get multiplied with the first row of the owner table, right? If you see, second row also gets multiplied of the first row of owner. Third row get multiplied with the owner. Fourth owner, fifth owner. Can you see here? For every rows of pet table get multiplied with the first row of the pet owner table. So that means what will happen? If my pet table has 102 rows, after 102 rows, my row set will change. Let's go down, 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 down. After 102, because I know pet table has 102, so for 102 rows of the pet table, it will go get multiplied with the first row of the pet owner. So after 102nd row, can you see the again pet owner changes? It is saying, what if all the pets are owned by pet owner Debbie? What would happen? What if all the pets are owned by John Sebastian? What would happen? The interview question is, what is the use of a Cartesian product or a cross join? Do remember during the big billion day or during the Amazon shopping or during if you go visit some store, every day in news article you must be seeing that today is the cheapest day, and in some of the store, if you visit the store, you will be given discounts on XYZ product up to this much. Do you know how that particular calculation came up? From this exercise only. What they typically do, they identify how many products are getting sold on how many quantities over what day, right? And they will identify which days are producing very less sell for a certain product item. Okay, say for an example, during the data analytical calculation, they figured out that on Wednesdays, electronic product sales are very less. Okay, because that is the mid of the week. Typically, people go heavily onto their day job. They don't come back to the site or store to buy items. So what if I will run a campaign to give 30% discount on Wednesday on electronic product, or on Thursday, on Fridays, typically it is the weekend, so food items gets easily sold versus any other electronic item. So why not give some discount on on electronic items on a Friday, right? So all those things comes out when you try to sell all the inventory item at all available prices on all available day, and then do data analytics on top of that to get some sense of it. Okay, I would say from the interview perspective, from your day job perspective, you are not going to do cross join unless and until it is a very peculiar situation, very peculiar situation, and it is very rare. Okay, I can ascertain if you're joining a data engineering job or a SQL developer job for 5-7 years from now, and then you might get one such task to do a cross join operation. Okay, it is not that heavy from your day in day out work as compared to the inner join, left outer join, right outer join that you will do every day for 10 times or 15 times, right? So join you will be doing very accessibly. Cross join maybe in 5 year one time. Okay, you can see that that is the rarity of this cross join. Only from the interview perspective, you do remember the question that might come up in the cross join. You do not write an on condition like unlike any other join operation, because typical join syntax is inner join left table, inner join right table on left table column name equal to right table column name. That is how you write the join syntax there. Same with the left outer join, same with the full outer join even. But in case of cross join, there is no on condition. In case of cross join, the resultant grid does contain summation of the column, multiplication of the rows as the resultant data. That is the only interview question that might come up during your interviews. Let's take a pause before moving on to the next topic. Any question by far on the joins? Let's wait for 5 minutes before starting the uh, okay, I'm just going through that. And sir, one example given to multi-join example. What is multi-join example? Can you elaborate please, Pradeep? I don't understand what is multi-join. Multi-join means you are saying multiple join between multiple table. One example given to multi-join example. I have explained that. Yeah. So please explain the multiplication in cross join once again. Explain the multiplication in cross join. Okay. Let us see that. Okay. Assume in table A and table B. Okay. Same table. Let's keep it in the same hierarchy. Table A, table B. Okay. Column name is ID and data is F name. Here the column name is ID, data is last name. Okay, and for the example sake, we'll say ID 1A, 2B, 3C. Here ID would be 1, last name R, 2O, 3P. In case of cross join, what will happen? Every row of the left table, this is the result of the cross join. Okay, every row of the left table gets multiplied with the right side table. So typically what will happen, the resultant grid will be ID F name, ID F name, ID last name. That is how the columns are, right? So the resultant grid will have all the 4 columns. Why? I said the resultant grid will add up all the columns, right? M plus n column. So if your columns are B and N, then essentially B plus N will be the total number of columns. So columns will be all 4, 2 plus 2 column. Now what would be my row set? I know there are 3 rows and 3 rows. So total 9 rows of data will be produced. How the data will be produced? So every row of first row, first table will be multiplied with first row of the right side of the table. Okay, this will come, but here only with this data set. Okay, and then it will duplicate. Control D. Then every row of the left table will again be duplicated with multiplied with second row of the data set. Okay. Third, in every row of this left side will be multiplied with last row of this data set. That is how the total grid will be formed for a cross-join operation. What will happen? Every row of the table from left side will be multiplied with one each and every row of right side once. Can you see that? First time this set is multiplied. Okay. Second time, again the same left side table but multiplied with one row of the right side. Again, same row of all the left side table multiplied with one row of right side table. That is how the resultant grid is formed. Okay. Multiplication in cross join, once again, I did explain. How do I actually elongate this? Multiple join like inner join and left multiple join like inner join and left join in one scenario. So if your question is, can we write inner join and left join and right join in one table? Absolutely yes, you can write. Absolutely yes. Okay. Typically, do remember, whenever you are doing inner join, left join and right join, what is important is always remembering what is your left versus what is your right. Is that understanding correct? Let me actually open up the SQL example yesterday, so that will be easy. Yeah. If you could remember that complex join where I was actually trying to join 4 table to customer, to order item, to product. Can you remember this particular thing? This is the particular join that I wrote to extract out all the data from the order table, correct? If I go into the same query and I want to say, I want to actually do one exercise. That's a very good question though. Can I not write inner join, outer join, everything in the together, and when it will be used? Do you remember one fundamental aspect? Okay. Whenever you are doing multi-join operation, this is a multi-join operation. Is that understanding correct? There are so many tables involved: customer, order, order item, product. 4 tables are involved. Which is the left table? Always do remember, SQL doesn't look at join like this. SQL looks for every clause by clause. First, it will do join of customer to order. It runs from top to bottom, right? So it will do the customer and order join. And in this particular join, the left table is customer and then the right table is order. Okay, on this particular condition. So SQL server will first do it join between these two tables. Once the result is extracted, this particular entire query, whatever outcome has come out, right, that becomes the entire left table for this inner join clause, right? For this in a highlighted inner join clause, the entire operation of this is becoming the left table. Okay, so left table, inner join right table on a condition. Now, whatever output has produced by joining these 3 tables, will be the input, or you will become the left table for the for the this particular join, where the inner join is written. Here the right table is this, and this becomes the left table. Do remember, if you change your inner join, your left join, your right join, your intent, your operation exactly works the same way. Only thing is, depending upon the behavior of the, if you are writing left join, irrespective of a match found or not found, the data will come out. Is that understanding correct? Right? So if you want to do inner join and left join combination, you can do the same thing. If you want to do this data with right join this, that will also work, right? Do remember, join, left outer join is equal to left join in SQL Server, right outer join equal to right join in SQL Server. Okay, this is how you have to sequence it out, right? When would you need a left join versus inner left right combination? Depends what example you want to do. Where what you want to say, I want to fast exact match between two tables. Whatever data will come, that data can become my master data for left join. Anyways, do want the data from this particular join. Okay, if you understand the way I did the query, that means this data is premium important to me. Wherever the customer is matching with the order, I am only interested with that data, right? Inner, that means only the data that is matching will come out. After whatever comes out, this lib data, this table, then you join with the order item. Wherever the matching data is coming out, you give me the data. Once all the data came out, then my intention is only from the product. Wherever the left table data is matching with the right table data, you get me all the data from the product table. That my intention changed. Initially my intention was inner join, right? I want to see only the matching data. Then my intention was, wherever the matching data is available, you get me the data from the left side of the matching data table only. Right side, if you don't find, give me a null. But then I change my intention that I am in looking at only left side data. Whatever is there, you match with the right side. Wherever you find the matching data from product, give me the data. If you don't find the matching data from the left side, give me a null from the left side. That is how you are going to understand. Hope this multi-join is clear to you, Pradeep. Now, going back, please show us joining three table. There are four tables we have joined. Why three? Can you ask a very specific question, Sai? I want to understand. Please show us joining three table. You are seeing this particular join customer, order item, product. There are four tables involved. You want me to again do the same thing? What is the issue? You have to come out very specific. What did you not get? Can you can coordinator unmute Sai Vijaya? Coordinator, can you please unmute Sai Vijaya? Sai Vijaya. I'm not able to unmute. Can anybody unmute Sai Vijaya, please, in the session? Or you type very specific. Please show us joining three table that I have already shown. Left table 1, 2, 3, 5, right table 1, 2, 3. What is the left join, right join, full outer join? What do you mean by left table 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? What do you mean by right table 1, 2, 3? What is the left join, right join, full outer join? Are you saying that if the IDs are that, what would be the answer? Answer is this way. If your left table has ID as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right table has ID as 1, 2, 3, then inner join will produce 1, 2, 3, because left table has 1, 2, 3 and right table has 1, 2, 3. Okay. If your left table has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and right table is having 1, 2, 3, then your left table will produce, your left join operation will produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from all the data from left side. But for the 4 and 5th row, right side data will come as null. Okay. If you are going to do the right join will produce only 1, 2, 3, because in the right table only subset of data is there. 1, 2, 3 is there. Though there is matching row in 4 and 5, the right side doesn't have that much of data. So right side table will produce 1, 2, 3. Clear? Full outer join will produce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. For 4, 5, right side will be null, and for 1, 2, 3, there is a matching record. Clear about that, Prashad? Sai Vijay, go ahead.
Will this happen in a different way for different tables, sir? This is my question.
Hey, sorry, I didn't realize, but I was speaking on mute since a long time. Okay. What I was trying to say is I'm not going to explain about. So the previous question I didn't answer. So I spoke about this particular question. Did you hear this left outer 1, 2, 3, 5 and 1, 2, 3? Because I didn't realize that I was speaking on mute. So let me repeat it again one more time. Okay. It was clear, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3 was there. I spoke about it. If the left table contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the right table contains 1, 2, 3, then inner join will produce 1, 2, 3 matching with 1, 2, 3. So answer will be 1, 2, 3 coming out of the inner join. Left join, left table has all the 5 rows. So all the 5 rows will come. For the row number 4 and 5, right side of the table will produce null rows because there is no matching data in the right side. For the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3 right join intent, right table has only 1, 2, 3. So answer will come out as only 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. A full outer join will produce all the 5 rows because maximum number of rows are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our answer will be coming. 1, 2, 3 will be matching between both the table, and 4, 5 are extra. Right side of the data from the 4, 5 will be null. Okay. Now coming back to I understand the join concept, but unable to understand the scenario where you are going to use the specific thing. What I was trying to ask, I'm not going to explain about this particular answer. I'm going to ask a few questions. Did you all load the pet owner and the product customer data on your local machine? Did you all loaded it? If you have, then my question is, do listen to my question. I'm going to watch for answers from everyone. Okay. If you have not loaded, doesn't matter, try writing the query, okay, and send it over the chat window. It is a kind of 10 minutes to 15-minute test. I want to see how exactly you have perceived the session. Then we'll actually start the views segment. Answer me, tell me all the pet, sorry, tell me, let me see first. First, before asking the question, even let me see the data. Did you have or do you have all loaded this particular pet owner and all product data set? Because you need to have this data for writing the query. Okay. So I'm just trying to see what is there in my customer table. In the customer, I have some. In the order, I have some. In the order item, in the order item, I do have something. And then I have products. Okay. These are the 4 tables I have. What I want to know, tell me all the cells generated in country Germany. I want to know that particular query. Tell me total amount of cell I want to display. Okay, the query I'm writing it down. Please write this particular query. Display. You have exactly 10 minutes. At 8 o'clock, 5 minutes, we will start the view. Okay, 10 minutes. You have to answer this 3 questions. Let's see who is answering it. Display all the customer ID, comma, total cell amount generated for country Germany. First question, okay? For country Germany. This is the first question. Second question, display all the country where display the country names where zero cell is generated. Third, display the product. Can you see here? Is discontinued flag in the product table? Just look at this particular column. Is discontinued flag on the product table, right? If you see a discontinued flag is marked as 1, that means the seller was selling this particular product on their shelf, but then they are not selling anymore because they found that this particular product is either not selling, so they stock it out, and now it is because of a government ban they have not selling it. If the product is marked as is discontinued as 1, that means it is actually not being sold. So I want to know, display the sell amount generated from discontinued product. You have 10 minutes to answer. Please go ahead and attempt. Discontinued product. First question, I am writing it down in the chart window. If you have not taken it, I hope that you have already created the table structure. This is the question coming for all of you. And did I not? I am able to control V? No. Copy, control V, and send. Anybody has started writing it? Can you explain discontinued product again? If is discontinued as marked as 1, that means the product is discontinued. What I ask is, I want to know total amount of cell generated out of the discontinued product. That means identify where in the product table is discontinued is marked as 1. That is the where condition you need to apply. But then I want to know the total amount of cell generated. Amount of cell is available in order table only. Is that correct? From the order to the product to the discontinued will be the mapping. Hope Uday, you are able to understand. Can you send us the SQL file of the data? Did I not send it yesterday? Let me see if I can do it in Slack somewhere. In Slack, I will go here. I will try and attach text SQL join related files. Why it is saying add a link? How do I attach? I don't know. SQL docs, I'm there, but I don't know. I'm very new to Slack, so I don't know. How do I actually upload a data? Join example SQL, pet dog SQL. I have already, that is, I can see Ramya has already given the pet dog SQL file. Join related table structure is also given. You can actually see from Slack Ramya's dataset join related table structure and pet dog. Both of the thing are there. DDL SQL 7 example.sqls are there. Why do you need one more time? It is already there. Actually, join related table structures are all there. Look for yesterday's dataset that is available in Slack, please. Krishna, data is already given in the Slack. Please download from there. Can you explain discontinued product? I have already explained. Please make this clear. Sir, I understand the concept, but unable to understand the concept when to specific. You will understand now. Sai. I'm just deleting the question that I have already answered. Anybody could answer the first question by far? Display all the customer ID, total sell amount generated for the country Germany. Straightforward. While you are doing it, I'm stopping my share because so that at least I can also attempt the question and then we'll discuss. Exactly at 8:05, I want to start the session. So I'm stopping the share for the moment. Anybody could answer? It's already 15 minutes. I have 10 minutes to talk about the views. Anybody could answer? I don't see any messages yet. Yeah, somebody has given one. Let's see. Are you able to see my screen now? Let's see the chart. Somebody has written, what is the question? What is this answer? Select C.ID and total amount as total amount from customer. Let me see. Let me take this particular thing. Get all this code. Let me go and take it out. This is for the first question. Who has answered this? Shiva. I'm not able to read this. Very odd. Okay. Customer ID and the total amount of sale where the country ID is Germany. That is correct. Now, now can somebody understand why there is an inner join used? This is the right answer. The first query's answer is right answer. If you see, while you were doing it, I was also trying to do it. First question I asked, display the customer ID. Display all the customer ID, total amount generated from the country Germany. So I know if there is always a cell generated, that means there will be a matching record found between the country and the order table. Is that understanding correct? There has to be a matching record, because if there is a cell that has happened, that means there will be an order amount available. So, and if I have to match, I am concerned about matching record, then I have to go for an inner join. That is where we are doing the inner join between the customer table to the order table on the customer ID to the customer.id equal to customer ID, and where apply a filter saying country is Germany. So if you run this particular query, you got your answer. So ideally, I am getting 122 answer, but you are getting only 11 rows of thing. So that means there is something wrong. Customer tables ID is matching with order tables customer ID, not order tables ID. Okay, whoever has attempted, this is the right attempt but wrong query. Okay, customer tables ID column matches with order tables customer ID column. That is where you are seeing a different result versus the right answer would have been. This is the right answer. I'm giving the first query's answer. This is the first query's answer. Let me go to the chart window, paste it here, Control V, send. First query's answer. This is the second query answer. Display all the names where the sale amount generated is 0. Okay. How do you know? If you do the same operation, if you match the customer with the order, do remember, if there is all the customer who has purchased, that means there will be an order item generated in the order table. Is that understanding correct? That is where the order we are keeping, right? If a customer has ever purchased a product, there will be definitely an order item. Okay. Now, if I see order has, if I see ever the order is coming as a null row, right, in the order table, that means that particular customer or from that country never a purchase has been made. If you see from USA, I'm doing the reverse direction. I should do it in the, for your understanding sake, I should do this way. Okay. I'm selecting the country name and the total amount of cell generated from that. I'm doing a customer with a left outer join order. That means all customer data should come out. And if there is a matching record available in the right side, there will be data in the right side. If there is no matching record available in the right side, that means from those countries never a sale is made. Is that understanding correct? From USA, Spain, and France, I don't see a record available. If I say is not null, then all the record will come out wherever the matching record is available, right? All the customer who has ever purchased from a country. So these are the country where the purchases are made, because I said total amount is not null. Not null means it is some value. But if I say is null, that means this is what happens when you do this particular left outer join. You see this particular data. All country, all cell data will come out. Can you see? All country, all cell data will come out. But wherever there is no matching data found from the right side, you will see null record in the right side of the table. Okay. Can you see these last 4 rows are for these countries? There was no matching record found in the right side of the table. That is where you are using left outer join. Your intention is I want to see the country that is available in the left side. That's why I know if there is no cell made, right side order table will not have any total amount generated. That is where I'm applying a filter to get the data from the right side as null. So for the second query, the right answer is this one. If you have attempted, and this is the second query's answer. Third query's answer, display all the amount generated from the discontinued product. You have to do the join between the customer to the order, to the order item, to the product, and or do all left. And then do all left and then apply just a filter known as is discontinued, where p dot is discontinued equal to 1, and it will tell you all the cells generated from the discontinued products. Sorry about that. Execute. You can see the product, these are all discontinued product. I said if the product has a marker known as is discontinued as 1, that means those products are discontinued product. And you can see this product has been sold over a period of time and so many sales generated out of the discontinued products. Okay. Now let's go back to our session content. Today we will start with our new topic known as view. Copy, Control V, send. So third answer also I have given. Okay. Look for it, and we couldn't see answer completely as query is not visible partially. I have given the query on the chart window. Please copy from there. This question somebody has attempted. Yeah, this is the right order.customer ID. But why would you do a customer.order.bracket? That is not the right way of writing. Order dot. No need to write a bracket. This query, did this query execute? Because I am seeing this particular pattern for the first time. Let's see. Why not try and test it out? Because I know this is not a valid syntax, but let's try. Why not? It is giving error, right? So this is not a and then here you are saying as O, DB order as O, customer as C on C dot inner. It is not on proper syntax, inner join, right? Then you are doing this again, bracket. This bracket doesn't work. Where are you getting all these syntaxes? Are you, if you are following the session carefully, do verify. Inner join, what do you mean by inner? If you are writing, oh, I have never written a bracket on the column. If you are writing a bracket, it has to be a square bracket. If you are saying this, a square bracket is the right answer, right? You can do that. That is legal, but a bracket is not the right answer. Okay. Okay, fine. Mistakenly wrote that. That is fine. But then your inner was missing the join condition. Okay. I have already shown you the multi thing has left. Multiple join and then left table and then reduce the result table. What do you mean by result? Reduce the result table. Run. I couldn't see your name. Thatai is the name. We couldn't see your answer completely. You can actually run the query locally. You are seeing that you are not able to see my screen. That is where I have increased the font. I am trying to delete this, but it is automatically coming up. I don't know why, because it is actually creating confusion. Okay, no worries. We'll go into the session content. We'll start afresh. Any further question on the join? Feel free, talk to your coordinator. If you want to get unmuted and speak about it, just do it, because we'll move to the next one. It's already been two plus hours, 3+ hours we have spent on this. Anybody want to ask any question, or we are all good? Okay, fine. I will take it as a no, and then we'll move to the next session content. Today we'll start with the views. Okay. Very simple concept, interviewer friendly topic, and in your day job you will do this particular exercise very frequently, so it is also very important from your understanding perspective. So today we are going to complete the session called as view, and if time permit then we'll proceed to the other part of the group by and order by also. Let us see how the things goes on. Do remember, today's agenda will be view, simple view, complex view, index or materialized view. These are the three types of views available. And there is one other category of view that we are anyways going to talk about, is known as a system view. Somebody asked me a question a few days ago. Can you explain more about information underscore schema? That is a part of the system view I will talk about. Now, do remember, in today's session, we are essentially going to talk about what is a view. Okay. Do remember, throughout our session, I'm talking in SQL Server or in actually database programming language. There are two types of container. One container is known as the physical container. Other container is known as a logical container. Okay. The physical container is the table, and the logical container is the view. So view is a logical container that contains data. Okay. But do remember, unlike view, unlike table, view does not contain the data of its own. Okay. View is a named SQL query that abstracts data or derives data from the underlying table. That is what a view is. Okay. Simply saying, a view is a named SQL query. It is going to help you provide the data abstraction. What do you mean by data abstraction? That means essentially there is a lot of data, but when you actually wrap it under a view, and you have given privilege to the user to only query through the view, the user will only see the data that is exposed through the view. So that is what is known as abstraction. That means you have 100 rows of data, but the view is fetching 5 rows of data. If the customer is only searching through the view, that means he will always see the 5 rows of data. To him, there exists 5, but actual data set is 100. So that means essentially why a view is needed. If you understand the concept, then you can actually apply the concept well. Think about this. You have joined an organization like Infosys or some company or TCS like company. Okay. And there lakhs of employees are working, right? And every employee deriving some X amount of salary. When you go to the company on your day one job, you go to your payroll portal and you started looking for your colleague's salary. Is it possible to see your colleague's salary? What rift it will create? You both are at the same pay, same age, same experience grade, and you are drawing less salary as compared to your friend. How do you feel? You will not feel good, right? You, when you go join a company, um, you want to see others' contact number, right? It will create panic between the employees if everybody can see every other employee's contact number, right? If you want to see the complete address of the employee where every other employees are staying, right? That is also PII information, private. It is very personal information. If and only if it is a company or the employee want to share, they can share, not to all, right? So you need to create abstraction on the data. When you join, you can provide everything to the company. You will provide your pay slip, you are going to provide your certificate, you are going to discuss about your marks stored in the colleges, right? Your colleague said that how much did you score in your plus two? And say for an example, you have not scored well during your academics in the 10 plus 2 exams, right? And you got a very less scores, assume that 62, 63%, and you are not very comfortable sharing it, right? If you think that once you join the company and every data of your education is also flashed, right, you will not feel comfortable. So typically what HR system does, what they will reveal: your first name, your last name, your age, your email, some important information that matters to everyone, but remaining all is made private. But when they collect, all the data will be there in the employee table, right? What is the first name, last name, middle name, age, sex, gender, age, gender, phone number, contact number, current address, present address, permanent address, passport number, PAN number, Aadhaar number, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Everything will, all the personal data will be there in the employee table, right? But when it is tied back into the, and your salary even, when it is tied back into the HR application module, there will be restriction that only employee can see his own data, but he cannot see any other employee data, right? That is one part. Second restriction I want to put, any other employee want to see other employees data, they can see only a few field, not all the field, right? If you want to create an abstraction on the actual data, that is where you need a view. So that is what the purpose of a view also, right? View derives data from the underlying table. That is what the thing is. And now we'll talk about how many types of view I have already specified. There are 3 categories of view: simple view, complex view, and index view. Let us understand what the simple view is. Do remember, simple view is a view. I will come back to this particular thing as a rule and thing. Let's go back to the simple view. The simple view is a view that derives the data from only one table underneath. What is the simple view? If you are deriving the data from only one single table, then it is a simple view. If you are deriving data from multiple tables, then it is a complex view. Okay. Materialized view or index view is a very special type of view. I will explain. Okay. I said view is a named SQL container and it does not have the data of its own. But do remember, index view or materialized view has the data of its own. It is a reverse thing. By in general, views doesn't have the data of its own. Okay. First, let's do some exercise and then we will come to know. And I have given a lot of content. We'll go back and see how exactly to create a structure. Okay. Depending upon what programming language you are choosing, the syntax would be create view. Create is the command that we have already studied in the DDL command stack. How do we create object? We say create object type, object name. Here we want to create a view. What we would say? Create view, view name. Create table, table name. Create database, database name. That is how the create command works. So what would we say? Create view, view name as our underlying select query. That is what a view is all about. So view is the named select query. Let us try an example to see that particular thing out. Okay. Say for an example, I want to create a simple view today. First example will be a simple view example. Let's see how to create a simple view. I think I have simple view example. Let me not write simple view. That view is already there. I have a customer table. I want to create a simple view example here. So this is a simple view. What is the rule for the simple view? Simple view is a view that derives data from only one table. Is that understanding correct? So if you see, I am writing a query, select star from the customers table. I would go for the customer table because that has much more rows. Okay. I'm writing a query or a to get me all the data of the customer. Okay. What I'm saying, create view, view name. VW get customer. Okay, get customer because the table name is customer. I'm giving a view name as customer. Do remember in industry, the views nomenclature starts with VW. It is what typically industry observe. Whenever you are naming a view, you will say VW and then you will write get, or get is optional. Get means typically you display the data. So you will say VW get customer, or typically people say VW customer, view of the customer table. Okay, VW customer or VW get customer are good naming convention to get the data from the customer table. So I'm saying create view name. There is a keyword that you need to specify known as do you remember how do you do column alias? If you could remember, select order id as customer id. Do you see that you are giving a name to the query? When you write the id as customer id, what happened? Actual column name id, but while displaying you remember it as a customer id. You the similar way you are saying create an object known as a view type of object that abstracts the data from the customer table. Okay, so I want to create a view known as vw, select create view name as select star from the customer table. Command completed successfully. That means a view is created. How do I know a view is created? I will go into my study database. This is where my object is created. So I will do a refresh on my study database. I will go expand my views segment. Can you see a view known as VW get customer is created, right? I can see this particular view is created. What is a view? How do I see the data from the view, right? I said that view is a one is a physical table, one is a logical table. So I'm continuously saying view is a logical table and it does not have the data of its own. So then why did I create a view? I'm going to say select star from the view name. Select star from the view name. So my view name is select star from VW get customer. Say for an example, I'm trying to do this. Okay. Can you see all the data that is there within the customer table is coming out, right? So view, when I say select star from the view, what SQL did, it tried understanding what is the query underneath the view. It went ahead and executed the query select star from the customer from the view name. Okay. Are you clear up to this point? I want to get a perspective from all. Are you clear up to this point that what is a view? View is a named SQL object. That means I have given a name to this particular query as VW customer. It gets created as an object, right? How to select the data from the view? You will say select star from the view name. But when you say view name, but view is nothing but a query. So what it will do? Select star from the select query. Okay. That is what the SQL Server is doing. Is it clear up to this particular point? Anybody want to respond? Are you clear up to this point? What is the view? Unmute and ask if you have any question, please. Coordinator, please help here. Anybody want to ask a question? Please give a name and ask, because it is important concept, and then I will proceed from there. Is it clear? What is the view? View is a named SQL object, and then you can actually write a view like this, create view name. Underneath that you have to write a select query, and how to select the data from the view, you will say select star from VW customer. Do you remember, if the view contains only one table, that means it is a simple view. That is what the definition of a simple view. Simple view is the view that only contains one table underneath. Okay, as there is no question, I will assume that everybody understood it thoroughly. Now move next. What is possible in view? Okay, do you remember, this is the rule. If the view is a simple view, if and only if, I'm saying it again and again, if the view is a simple view, this is the interview question, so take a note. Can you do delete, update, and insert operation or a DML operation on a view? Write down this as an important interview question. Maybe it is a 9 on 10 interview question. If you go for 10 interviews, you will find this particular question 9 times. That is what 9 on 10 means. Okay. Can you do DML operation on a view? Answer is yes, I can do DML operation on a view. Though the view doesn't have the data of its own, I can do DML operation on a view if and only if it is a simple view. Do you remember, the answer is I can do DML operation on a view if the view is a simple view. So I want to delete one record from this particular table, or maybe I want to insert a record. I have 93 rows, right? I want to insert a fresh row. So I would say insert into VW customer. Okay. I know when I insert into the VW customer, that ultimately insert the data into the customer table. And I want to insert the next row as 94. I will say values clause. Next value will be 94. First name would be um, Tom. Second name, last name would be Cruz. I don't know the spelling rightly. CRUZE. I don't know. Tom Cruise SC maybe. I don't know. Let's check out what is the spelling of Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. CRUISC. CRUIISC. Okay. And then I want to do the city. He is living in New York, and his country is USA, and his phone number is, say for an example, it is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. 10 numbers, 10 is the number, and I want to save it. Okay. Now, if I do insert this particular record into the view, will the view insert the record into the table? Let's see that. An explicit value of the column identity column I cannot specify. That's true. That means this 94 I cannot specify. So let's verify. I will eliminate this. Let's see. One row affected. Okay. So I didn't specify the ID column because it is the identity column. Automatically the value will be inserted by SQL Server. So I can insert one row of data into the table. If I see select star from the VW customer, I would be able to see the data from the table, right? I can see the Tom Cruise as a record is inserted into the table in the bottom of my screen. If you see the last record. Now, does it mean it inserted the record into the actual table also? Is that correct? Because view doesn't have the data of its own. It derives the data from underlying table. To me, the data is coming from the customer's table. So whether the data got inserted in the customer table, because view doesn't have the data, right? So where did it get the data from? Then it must have got the table from the customer. Whether I do see a record called as 94 known as Tom Cruise highlighted the row. Can you see that? When you do a insert, update or delete, it actually insert the data onto the underlying table. Okay, clear about that? I want to delete the record from the view, the same record from the view. So can I say delete from the customer table, delete from delete from view where ID equals 94. If I do that, whether the data will be deleted? Yes, I could delete the data also, right? That essentially mean I can do DML operation easily on the view. If I do the VW get customer, do I see the 94th row anymore? That row is gone. That means the data is gone. If I go to the actual table also, I will not be able to see the data, right? Because the view deleted the data from the underlying table. Okay. What is clear about this particular approach? If a view is a simple view, you can do DML operation on the table. But then there is a rule. I will talk about that particular one of the rule I will talk about during the constraint. I don't want to confuse you, so I will not talk about it, but I will definitely talk about it during the constraints. Okay. Do remember, I will explain this right now. Do remember, if your view, I'm saying the view is a simple view, right? But it might happen that I am not doing the view like this. I'm not going to do the select star from the table, right? I may be trying to do a subset of the data. I can say that, right? I can say that I want to do a subset of data set. Okay. I want to create a view. Now I have created the view, but I want to change the structure of the view. How do I do that? If I want to modify the structure of my query or the view, then what I will do, I will say alter view name. Okay. How do I change the structure of the table? I say alter table name, add column name, data type size. I say alter table name, alter table name, drop column name, size. Alter table name, alter column name, data type size. Right? That is how I do with the alter. Same with the view. What I say, alter view name and the query. That is how I alter the syntax of the existing view. Okay. I want to change my code. I want to say this view only derives the data from the country country is where customer's country is customer country in where country in I want to say where the country like UK or Denmark, you give me the data from that. Okay. UK, sorry about that. Control C, Control V, UK, comma, Denmark or France. Say for an example, I want to extract the view only from these three countries. I don't want to display all the record from Denmark and France. Okay, this is the data that is going to be exposed through this particular view. There are 93 customers available, but let's see whether if I execute the select query, I see only 20 rows of data available from 20 customers available from UK, Denmark, or France. Okay. Now I want to change the structure of my view. I am applying the new view, alter view name as the select query. Now if I do the select, how many rows of data I will get? Earlier I was getting 93 because there was no restriction, right? So select star from the VW get customer. Actual table has 93, but when I am selecting the data from the view, I will see only 20 rows where the condition is matching. Why? Because I said I'm looking for the data for all the people, all the customer who are either from UK, France, or Denmark. Is that correct? So these are the three countries from which I could build a view. Is it clear up to this point? That a view can also, the purpose of a view is to abstract data. If you now can see, actual table has 93 rows of data, but the view contains only 20 rows of data. That is what the real purpose is, right? I also want to abstract some more thing. I don't want to display the ID and country and phone number. I don't want to display that. I want to only display the ID as actual column name is ID. I want to say it as customer ID. And then I want to say first name plus last name plus single quotes space single quotes. This is how you concatenate two columns in SQL Server. First name plus I am trying to give a first name space last name. So I will say first name plus single quote space single quote plus last name. Okay, this is how I can do expression. Okay, and city, or say for an example, I want to only display the city and country, both of them. City and also country. Okay, now this is my view. Let me select this particular query for you to show what data I'm selecting. Actually, the data column name was ID. I have applied a as column. So I'm giving the column name of ID as customer ID. You can see the customer ID is a column name. ID column became the customer ID. Then the first name and last name became as name, comma. I didn't give the name, so that got hidden. So I will go select this particular query again and do a selection. Can you see? Now I can merge both my first name and last name to show the name column. Then I'm showing the city column, and then I'm showing the country column. Okay. Now these are the four columns that I'm displaying. So I want to alter my view. I will say alter view name, and let's see execute. If I want to select the data from my view, I will say select star from the view name. I can see the view does have the data like this. Actual data in the table is different, right? I have 93 column, 93 rows. I have first name, last name, city, country, and phone. But when I am selecting from the view data is abstracted. When somebody sees it, he might see that the column name would be customer ID. The column name is name. They are stored in combined format by specifying the first name space last name. The column name is city. The column is country. Whereas the actual data is different. The actual data is this one, right? Still the data is there, right? The first name, ID column, and the last name, city, and country, and phone number is there. But when I'm selecting the data from the customer, I'm selecting only a subset and fragment of the data, right? Is it still a simple view? I'm still selecting the data from the table. Do you remember? Even if you are selecting the data from the table, you have made it complex. You know why? Because you have introduced this particular operation where you are merging the data set, right? When you are doing any kind of extra complex calculation, even if you are selecting the data from one table, but if there is some concatenation operator, some concatenation means summation, this addition operator on a extra column, or there are multiplication on some column, there you are doing some totaling on the column, right? If you are doing all those things, that may, by default means that it is a complex view. Okay, do you remember, even if you are selecting the data from the single table, but if you have concatenated data set or you are doing some calculation on existing column, that view will be treated as a complex view, and any DML operation on a complex view is not allowed. Okay, so do remember, this is also another interview question. You can do DML operation on a simple view provided you are selecting the column name straightforward, right? If you are doing operation or expression on the, this is known as expression. Okay, if you are doing calculation or expressions on a particular column, you cannot do the insert, update, delete on that particular view. Okay, I will take a pause here. Any questions by far? What is the benefit of using view? Sai, benefit of using the view is data abstraction. Once you create the view, you can actually give control access onto the, I will actually show you this particular during our security control language, right? Say for an example, there are, let me show you because you have asked it, let me show you, it is a valid scenario to show. How many tables are there in my actual table? There are so many, correct? No, there are so many tables available inside my table. But what I want to create, I want to create a restriction. There is a new employee joining my org. I want to give him a very restricted access. So what I would do, I will go to the security, I will go to the logins, I will go and create a new login. I will go create a new login. We'll anyways do that, so don't ask what do you explain now. Anyways, the security control language will come out. I want to create a new login, and it is a SQL login I want to create. Okay, I will say the login name is login name is Varun. Say for example, Varun. Okay, and the SQL authentication password is Dhawan. 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 And DHAWAN. Dhawan. I don't want to enforce password. Okay, Varun Dhawan, and his default database is study. I want to make sure he is only connecting to that, and I am not going to give him, I'm just going to give him the public access. Let's see what happens. So the Varun Dhawan is the user connect created. So I will want to connect to my database with the SQL login. Instead of Windows, I will say SQL login, use Varun as login ID and password as Dhawan, DHAWAN. Okay, I'm trying to do it. Login for cannot connect. Why? Is it connected? Cannot connect. That means essentially I have to set my server to allow SQL connection. It is a new server. Yeah, Windows authentication mode. I have to change my authentication mode to SQL. So authenticate using SQL. Yes, I want you to restart, which is fine. Connect to the database engine. Again, connect to my same database engine using Varun Dhawan. Varun Dhawan. DHAWAN. Connect. Login field for Varun. Why? This is the server. Properties again. Security. SQL authentication. That is correct. Okay. Did I do a different password altogether? Security, logins, Varun, properties. I want to change the password of this particular object. Say for an example, I want to do ABCD123. ABCD123. Now let me connect database function, SQL authentication, Varun, tab, ABCD123. No, it is not connecting because I have only given him the public access. So I have to grant him some privilege. User mapping. Okay. I have to go to the study database first. I will grant him study database access. Okay. Study database access I will grant. And then I will try to connect one more time. Varun tab ABCD123. Still it is not allowing him to connect. So let's go back, go to the properties, go to the user mapping, go to the study database. I have given the study access, but I did not give him a role. So I have to give him a data reader role. Let's see, I will grab him a data reader role. Now is it allowing? SQL authentication again. Varun tab ABCD123 connect. Still it is not. Is it going to the same server where I'm doing? Browse for more. Database engine. This is the server I want to connect to. SQL authentication mode. Not this one. Varun, and then ABCD123. No, it is not. So there is some issue with this particular user ID. Properties again. SQL enforce. I didn't enforce. Default is study. Server role is public. User mapping is done. I have given a data reader role. Secureable. I didn't. Status. It is granted. So it should be able to connect. Why it is not able to connect? No worries. Let me try to do one thing. Grant select on this particular view, VW customer, to Varun. I have given him access even now. Login is there. Did I create a user? Let's see within the database. Study. There is a user. Where is the security? Users. Varun is also there. And if I go to the properties, yeah, he has been given a VW customer access. Okay, let's see. Connect database engine again. A I don't know. Okay, maybe it will not work till I restart my server. So let me restart my server. I'm restarting my service. Okay, just a second, so that it will restart my SQL services. Yeah, it is done. Okay, let's retry again. Connect database engine. Varun, and then I will say ABCD123 connect. Yes, now connected. So it was not taking effect of my SQL authentication. We'll study about the SQL authentication. Do remember, I have logged in as a user called as Varun. Okay. When I'm going into the database and logging in, let us see what has happened. I'm trying to see what Varun, when Varun logs in, he joined our company. So once he logs in, what data he sees. Is he able to see all the data? I'm just trying to do that. I'm just saying select star. It is trying to do that. I'm going into the views. Let it see. I have granted him access on the VW customer, so he should be able to see this data. But is he able to see all other data as well? Let us verify that. Okay. Do remember the question was, what is the benefit of using view? The view, you can control access to a particular login. If you see this Varun is a login, you can say that what user can what see what data, right? If you see that you can only, I have granted him only VW get customer access, only he can see the table that has been granted to the user. So views are essentially used for granting abstraction or showing only the data that is necessary to be displayed to a very specific user. Okay, views as a views are used for one, for the security purpose, that you can actually create and provision user with only restricted access to a view rather than exposing all the table from the database. Second part, the view also provide you a mechanism of repeatability. What do you mean by repeatability? If a particular query is a very long query, right? That's like we are doing a FOJoin table, join between the customer, order, product, and other things, right? It is a very long query, and you know it is a very repetitive query. If the query is very repetitive, then you should actually put that particular query inside a view so that the view will be stored on the server, and every other customer can leverage the same query. When it is a query, it is by default, you will create it and you will save on your local machine. But when you create it on a server, any user who can connect to the server, now you can see the Varun can also see all the table. You know why? Because I have given him the data reader role, right? I will actually take out the data reader access now. Server roles, user mapping on the study database. He is having data reader. I don't want to give him the data reader. Okay. Now let's see. Study, refresh tables. Yeah, he can't see any table. Can you see that? Though there are so many tables available, can he see any table inside Varun? It is Varun login. This particular highlighted login is a Varun's login. Okay. If he is going into the table, he is able to see the VW get customer, but he is not able to see any other table that is available in the SQL. Whereas the actually inside the table, inside the database, within the study database, there are so many tables available. Is that correct? This is known as data abstraction or data hiding. There are so many tables, but when you Varun logs in, he see only there is one view available, right? So views are a mechanism to abstract and create security permission onto the database context. Second part, like I say, it provides you the granularity and repeatability. Okay, that means once created the view on the server, anybody can leverage it at any given point in time. Now I will go back to the simple view definition again. Simple view is a view that derives the data from only one table. Okay. Sir, is this like a copy that data and structure? No, it is not. Absolutely not a copy. It is just a query with a name. That's all. View is just a named SQL query. I'm saying it again and again. View is a named SQL query. That means we are giving a name to the query. That is what is happening. When I say create view name, what is happening, you know? I said select from VW customer. What SQL server will do, it will say select star from. I'm saying select named SQL query. That means whatever query is there inside that, it will execute. Is that correct? From, it will do this. This is what the view is executing. This is what the view actually works. Okay. When you say VW get customer, it will replace the name of the customer with the actual query and execute it out. Okay. That is what a view does. Clear about that? Now, if I go and how do I alter the structure of the view? I have already spoken about it. How do I drop the view? If I have created a view, I want to drop the view. The process to drop a view is drop view name. I will mark this particular comment as a drop view. Control Shift U, drop view, view name, VW get customer. So if I want to drop the existing view, I can always say drop view name. Okay. So there is a table available, there are views available. If I run a drop view command, the view will be dropped. Okay. If I want to create it again, go and create the same script. Okay. Or say for an example, I created the updated version of this, right? Do remember, this is alter view. Alter view means what? If the view is already there and you want to change the structure, then alter view. If I run an alter view without having the base version available, then it will throw error. Can you see that? Invalid object name. That means it is saying you have already dropped the view. How come you can try to alter the view? You have to create it first, then alter it. So SQL Server does have another option also available. You don't know whether it exists or not, right? You can do this. Create or alter also you can specify. If it does not exist, create it. If it exists, you alter it. You can say create or alter view. That is also possible in one go. So if the view exists, you create it. If it does not exist, Sorry, if it does not exist, you create it. If it exists, you alter it. That is how. Okay. If I execute again and again and again, first time it created, second time onward it started altering. Okay. Manideep, it is not a copy. It is just a named SQL query, like I said. Okay. In your PC, it should be logged in as an admin user and not some email connected login. I don't know what does that mean. No issue. How did you change small case to capital instantly? Yeah, I have shown you, right? Highlight all this code, Control Shift L, Control Shift U. Okay. Uh, okay, fine. Now we'll move to the complex view part. Okay. Let's go to the SQL presentation again. Simple view allows you to do the insert, update, delete on the underlying table. How to drop a view? Drop view name. Uh, Update, insert, delete, update query. I have shown the insert and delete. Try with the update yourself. Okay. Complex view. Complex view is a view that derives data from more than one table. That is what a complex view is. Or a view with simple view with uh, some expression like first name plus last name. That is where the complexity is introduced. It is the complex view. Any view that is deriving the data from more than one table is definitely a complex view. Okay, you cannot do any kind of DML operation on the complex view. This is an example of a complex view. Okay, let us create a view with this particular structure. Okay, see, I'm right abstracting the owner ID, owner name, and the pet name. This is the query that is selecting the data from the pet owner and pets, where the pets owner ID equal to owner tables owner ID. If I run the query, I can see the owner ID, the owner name, and the pet name. If you run the query, I can see the 100 rows of data coming out of it. But to store this particular query, I want to abstract it within a view called as BW get pet owner detail. Okay, I am creating a view called as create BW get pet owner detail. Control C and in go, and I will say select star from this particular view, right? There is no difference. It is the same view. Underneath is a select query, but then it is not selecting the data from single table. It is selecting the data from multiple table. That is why it is known as the complex view. Okay. Do remember it is returning me the data. If I want to delete the data, I will just show you. Can I write insert, update, delete? Absolutely not, because there are two tables involved. And in DML, you cannot insert into two tables at the same go. You can insert two rows into the table at the same time using multi-line inserts, right? But you cannot insert into two tables simultaneously at the same go, correct? That is what the restriction. Because the view is selecting the data from two table, correct? I should not use the syntax. I should say inner join. Inner join pits where on pit owner ID equal to this. Okay. I would say this and then I will say create or alter view. Execute. Done. Now I want to select the data from the view. I'm able to see the data. Can I do a DML operation on the complex view? Let's say delete top one row, top delete from BW this where owner ID equals to OWN, where owner ID equals to 5508. I want to do that. Can I delete this record? Let's see. In simple view, I could have done it, but in a complex view, if I do it, what it is saying, viewer function is not updatable because the modification affects multiple base table. Can you see this particular line? View or function is not updatable. That means even if you want to try delete, update, or insert, you cannot do it because it is underlying affecting multiple base table. And DML query can be applied only on one table at a time. If the view is actually selecting the data from two table, when you write delete from one table, delete from the view, you are saying delete the record from two table. Using one delete query, you cannot delete the record from two tables. That is why you cannot write a DML operation on a complex view. What is a complex view? A view that derives the data from more than one table is known as a complex view. That is what a complex view definition is. Okay. View does not have the data of its own. That is the most important rule. Now the last part of a view. What is the another type of view? It is known as the index view or with a schema binding view. Do remember, if you specify a view with this particular clause, then it can actually create a structure for you with like physical table. Okay, let me tell you what is a schema binding view. I will copy one structure. Okay, copy this structure. There is a view known as schema binding view. What do you mean by schema binding view? I will say create or alter view with schema binding with 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 SCHEMA schema underscore binding. With schema binding, is it a one word? Schema binding. Yeah. So if I specify while creating a view of special special setup words known as with schema binding, that is an instruction to the SQL server to create this particular view as a table. That means it will be a view, but the data will be persisted. That means whatever data the view contain, it will be created as a structure like table. Okay. If a view is created as a schema binding view, then ideally the data for the view is persisted. Okay, let us create a view called as get customer indexed. I will talk about this particular behavior and we will know more about the indexing, this schema binding when we study about the index also. Okay, now it is indexed. I am saying it is a view with new keyword called as with schema binding. What does that mean? Do remember it is a simple view? Yes, it is, because it is customer. There is no complexity involved. It is a schema binding view. I have created the keyword called as schema binding. It is a simple view because all the column are straightforward. It is selecting the data from only one table. Definitely it is a simple view, right? And I'm done a schema binding. When I did this, can I see this particular view on the structure? Yes, I can see this particular view known as get customer indexed. It is a view, so it will appear within the view. Is it going to appear within the table? Absolutely not. It is not a table, so it will not appear as a table, right? It is not appearing as a table. It is a view, so it is there. Now what happened? Do remember, when you create a view with a schema binding, if I have bind the view with the schema binding clause with the underlying table and someone tries to drop the table, I am trying to drop the underlying table called as customer. I want to drop the table. I'm saying drop table customer. See what happens. Because I have bind the schema, I'm saying this view cannot be, this view cannot allow any underlying changes to the root table. If somebody want to add a column, somebody want to drop a column, somebody want to modify column, somebody want to drop the table, it is not allowed. What it is saying, could not drop the object customer because it is referenced by foreign key constraint. The foreign key constraint is what? First thing first, customer table does have a foreign key constraint, but essentially it will also not allow because the customer is also bonded with the schema binding clause with the view, right? So the view is tightly bound with the customer table. Once you tightly bound a view with a customer table, two things happen. One, the underlying table cannot be dropped till you take out this with schema binding clause from the view. That is the first rule. You cannot drop the table unless and until you take out that particular schema binding clause from the table. Okay. Second thing, when you create a view, it creates a separate copy of the data that is derived from the select query. Okay. Say for an example, this is the select queries data set, right? This 20 record. This will be stored within a SQL server. Though it is a view, it will be stored as a table. From your understanding purpose, it will be physically persisted. That means the data will be stored in a table-like structure if the view has a clause known as with schema binding. But for other view, like we have created the simple view and complex view without the schema binding, that means the view doesn't have the data of its own. But with a schema binding view, the view has data of its own. Okay, this is the difference between a schema binding view versus a non-schema binding view. If you create a view with schema binding clause, that means the view has the data of its own now. It will derive the data from the underlying table, but store the data in a physical container. Okay, that is what all about the view. Now we'll go back to, there are clauses, schema binding. There is again create view name with schema binding, and I'm trying to drop the table. It will not allow you to drop it. Okay. What are the interview questions related to this? What is the view? View is a named SQL container. Types of view: simple view, complex view, index view. What is a schema binding view? Schema binding view is a view that is created while creating the view with schema binding clause. What is the specialty about the schema binding clause? The schema binding clause allows the view to acquire the data and create a table-like structure. So schema binding view is a kind of table, physical table. If you specify a with schema binding, that means you cannot drop, modify the structure of underlying table because you have bonded the view to the table. So any changes in the table has to be notified to the view first. So what you need to do, go back, drop the schema binding, then come back, change the structure, then bind the view back. That is what the complexity involved within the schema binding view. Why do you need a schema binding view? Typically, when you have a lot of data in the table and you want to build physical indexes on the view, in that particular scenario you have to use the schema binding view, and we'll talk about the schema binding view during the index class. So do not get bothered if you don't understand at all. You will understand during the indexing session, because it is very much related to the indexing. That is why it is created with a schema binding clause. Okay, this is another interview question. We have already explained it during our subquery, but do you remember? Can you write an order by clause inside a view? Do you remember? Inside a view, you cannot write an order by clause. Why? Okay, if you create a, say for an example, I want to create a view like this. Create view, pets, get VW, get pets, get pet, pet details. And as, I will say as select star from pet tables. My pet table here. This is the pet table. I'm selecting the pet table and I'm saying create a view with the get pet details. I can write a order by clause in the order by clause in my order by pet name, I will say. Select query can have order by clause. There is no restriction. You are saying a view is nothing but a named SQL query. You are just giving a name to the SQL query, then you should support it. Correct? Order by works fine. I'm ordering the pet name in alphabetical A to Z manner. You can see that it is working fine. But if I create the order by clause with the create view clause, it will throw error. What it will say? The order by clause is invalid in view, inline function, derived table, subqueries. We have seen this particular error, right? Why? The reason being, the view doesn't have the data of its own. Somebody can write select star from the view name, select star from view name. He can do that. He can also write order by here, order by pet name. He can do that. If the person can do the select star from view name order by the pet name, why do you need to write order by here? That is why the view does not allow to be does not allow order by to be written within the select query within the view. Okay, order by is not a valid statement, but again it is an interview question, so there has to be some purpose for it. If the interviewer asks, in case I want to do want to write the order by clause, then you know the answer, top 100%. You have to apply a top 100% keyword while creating the view. If you do that, it will allow you to create the view. Can you see that? Or when when I did not supply top 100%, it was not allowing me to create it. But when I supply top 100%, now it allowed me to create the view as well. Okay, and order by the pet name. When I did it, it allowed me to create the view with that particular thing. And now I can also apply this particular select star from. But by doing that, whether it actually sorts the data, that is interesting part. Even if I did write a order by clause and I'm selecting select star from BW, it is by default not shorting it. Can you see that BRSK randomly it is there? So even if you have written it, the order by query is not going to take any effect. If you want to short it, you have to actually write the order by pet name clause. Okay, that is what the interview question is. Can you write can you write a order by clause inside a view? By design, you cannot, but if you definitely want to, then write top 100% clause. But does it mean that if you write top 100%, it will short it? Answer is no. You wanted forcefully to write it, so you have written it. It doesn't mean it will sort it. Okay. What is the simple view? Simple view is the view that derives data from single table. What is a complex view? The view that derives the data from more than two tables. That is what a complex view is. Okay, I will take a pause for today. That is enough. Let's understand any questions you have. Bye. Go ahead, ask question, please. Anybody having any question? Are you all clear? Are you typing in your question? Or check with the coordinator and unmute yourself. Anybody want to ask question? Everybody is clear about the views concept, join, cross joins. Any question further? Are we all good? I'm going to give you some assignments today because we have covered the biggest part, joins and views. Start attempting the questions. Starting tomorrow, we will be concluding on the group by, order by, and a lot of other things. Any other question? I don't see any other. Okay, perfect. If there is no other question, we can call it a day. Happy weekends. Take care, study well. I will give you exercises today, so start working on them.